The following is a full interview from the Border Battle with King and CJ. Tune into the Border Battle Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to noon on Suddenlink Channel 112, YouTube Live, or OSU Student Radio KXZY. Welcome back into Studio 318 here in the Paul Miller Journalism Building at Oklahoma State University. You're listening to the Border Battle with King and CJ. He's CJ over there. I'm King. Between us, we have Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, Haley Woodard. Haley, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out. We appreciate it. So we see the goal there against Baylor. I was at that game. That was over, I believe, just single overtime there. And a great run from Charmaine Morgan gets the service into you. We'll get to some of your teammates a little bit later on in the segment here. First of all, last season you start out hurt, you come back, and you're able to have a big impact overall. What's it like to, after having Courtney DK graduate, what's it like to step into that role and know that, you know, from an offensive standpoint, the team needed a little bit of help, and you stepped up and gave it to them?
Obviously, in the spring, we kind of knew that we were going to lose Courtney, and what we really talked about was focusing on getting goals and like numbers from multiple people. So coming in, there wasn't really any pressure, like coming off an injury, to like, you know, try and make that up on my own. I think we had like 9 different people score, I think, throughout, or more than that. I don't know the exact number, but we had a lot of different players score. So that was really cool to just, you know, not have any pressure to like, oh, you need to be scoring, because like I feel like my whole career I've been good at scoring goals, but there was really no pressure. I kind of came back on my own time when I felt ready, and everybody was just really supportive, and this season turned out way different than what I'd ever imagined, so that was really exciting.
Yeah, so, you know, kind of going off last year as well with it being your second time going to the tournament and then first time since you've been here being a Big 12 championship like champion. What's that been like to like experience that?
Honestly, I think we all kind of had a mindset coming in that we were like, we don't know what this season's going to bring. We don't know what the freshmen are going to do. We don't know how we're going to be. And we just came in and we worked hard. And I think our coaches said it multiple times. We had maybe 2 practices where we were switched off last season. We were just on all the time. And I think that made a big impact, and it led us to the tournament and led us to win the conference. We were really in it together, and we cared about each other. And that's like one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. And it was really exciting. And you could just tell that the passion was there for everyone. And we just took it one game at a time. We didn't think about the future. We didn't get nervous. We didn't get scared, and we didn't back down.
So talking about the always being switched on, everyone's always zoned in. How much of a senior leadership was that? Obviously, Anna Beffer, and then goalkeeper Michaela Angaro. Obviously, Angaro probably the vocal leader of the team. And then obviously Anna Beffer put it, you know, especially for you, you know, she puts it on the exact blade of grass that you need to make a good play. Losing those two, how big of an impact is that going to be in overall, like last season? How big of an impact did they have even off the field as far as like practicing and keeping everyone focused?
Anna is definitely going to be missed as kind of, you know, she's a voice of reason. She gets along with everyone. She makes amazing plays that we just don't know where they come from, and she makes them in practice, she makes them in games, and so we're really going to miss that. But we have some players stepping up in practice this spring that are really going to help us out in that area. And as far as Michaela, you know, she was our grandma. We used to joke with her that she's almost 30, you know, she's old, and she was just the voice of the team. You know, you always hear her. I could be at the way other end of the field, and I can hear exactly what she's saying to me. And personally, I was really close with her, so I'm really going to miss her, having her support me and yell at me on the field. But a lot of players stepped up last season as well. They were like 2 of, you know, obviously they're seniors, and they were 2 of the main ones that spoke up. But we had a lot of different voices and a lot of different leadership, and we still do. So I think we're going to be just fine carrying into next season with what we have. Talking
about some of the younger players, obviously, we talked. Chris and I a few weeks ago talked about what Kim Rodriguez going down in the U20 CONCACAF Women's and winning that. She scored a penalty in the semifinal against Canada. Her free kick was essentially what led to the goal in regulation against the United States in the final. What kind of experience does that give? Like, I mean, obviously she's a freshman,
right,
but this is experience that a lot of, you know, sophomores, juniors even don't have. Like, how big is it for her to get experience like that at such a young age?
It's huge. I mean, Kim came in last year, and, you know, I feel like I'm getting old. I don't know the freshmen anymore. I don't know who they are, where they like what they do. And Kim came in kind of a little later in preseason because she was actually practicing with the team, with the Mexico team, and I mean, every time she touches the ball, I am just at ease. The whole team would agree. We are at ease. We have no problems. We don't care where she is on the field. We have complete confidence in her because of, I think, mostly because of that experience that she's had. She's played at that high level, and she just really brings like an energy but also a calmness to the game that really helps us all out.
Overall, the switch to the wingback formation with Charmaine Morgan and how athletic she is, and she can run for 90 minutes without stopping. Overall, like, has the athleticism of this team just overall improved to allow you to play a formation like that? Because I was kind of raised the eyebrows, shifting to, it's kind of a drastic shift from the normal standard 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, whatever you're going to run, and then all of a sudden you incorporate wingbacks. Do you think that gave you an upper hand in conference play, especially, that teams maybe haven't seen this?
Yes, and when we started practicing that in the spring, we were like, our coaches are crazy. What are we doing? We have 1 forward and 5 defenders. Like, how are we going to attack? But it fit. They always said it fit our personnel very well, and I think it showed. I mean, our season backs that up, supports how it fit us and our personnel and our abilities and our strengths, and it covers our weaknesses pretty well. And so that formation is just, for us, it was a shock to get used to, and now we're working on improving it and kind of switching it up a little bit. So, but yeah, I think for other teams it definitely gave us the upper hand because it's not something you normally see. And we used to play 4-3-3, 4-4-2, like, and we kind of like changed our formation to other teams. But this last season we stuck with our formation. We did what we knew how to do, and people had to play us. We didn't go to play them; they played us, and I think that also helped with us, just being brave and not backing down and being confident.
So being from Norman, what,
yeah,
I
always get it. Yeah,
I'm sure you do. Was it tough choosing between OSU and OU?
It was not tough, surprisingly. I was supposed to go on. I had my official here in camp, and then I was supposed to go to OU like the next day after this camp was over. And my parents, I mean, they've always been indifferent. They don't care about the Bedlam rivalry, and they made me go to OSU camp, and I cried. I got in the car crying like a little 12-year-old because I was like, I'm not going to OSU. Like, I'm going to OU with my friends. I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to be close to home. And after the first camp, after meeting the coaches, after my official visit, they offered me. I said yes. And my parents said, oh, no, we need a minute. And I said, we don't need a minute. I want to go here. And it wasn't really a shock to people because, I mean, I love Norman, and I obviously used to like OU, but I just didn't really want to be with everyone. I wanted to kind of have my own experience. And, if there's people I know at OU that play on sports teams, I'll still obviously want them to do well. But, yeah, and then my mom's whole side of the family is OSU, which I didn't really realize until I came here. So they gave me all the support I needed. So it was okay. It wasn't hard.
And so I know you said, Bedlam's not real big with your parents, but like for you as a player, is Bedlam, something a little different being you're from, the area, the rivalry, more than, people
Yes.
from other states. Is that like, what's that like?
When I first got here, I think I was interviewed before our first Bedlam game, and I was like, why do they want to talk to me? Like, I'm a freshman. I don't play that much. I don't start. Like, who cares? And then after playing in it and like, just feeling like the passion from the players and the fans and the coaches, I was like, whoa, like this is way bigger than I've ever known it to be. And I kind of get caught up in it sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't like them. Like, we have to win. Like, it's not an option. So definitely losing to OU a few times early on, that was definitely like, it kicked in like my motivation and my competitiveness to want to beat them whenever I did get out there.
Overall, Coach Carmichael, what is something special that he brings that you don't think? Obviously, you've never been in another locker room with as far as on the collegiate level, but what do you see like from him compared to other coaches you've had that like maybe creatively or something? Is it something as simple as saying in the last offseason, you know what, I think we have the players, we're switching the formation, that's how we're doing it, or is there anything that you see in him that's a little bit different and that makes him so successful? Because obviously he is.
Yeah, he's been here for a long time. He's very successful. I think definitely, like you said, the switching the formation, he was, willing to take that risk. And so that worked, and obviously it showed. And I think that's what he brings, is he's not scared to change it up if we need to. Going from the original 4-3-3 to all of a sudden this brand new formation. And we all just kind of got on board, and he's been really good at getting us on board and bought into the program, and that's why we're being successful right now.
Sure. So I got to ask, too, before we, get a little ahead with the exhibition stuff. Over Halloween, you decided to dress up as Gundy. I know we have the photo here that we'll pull up so everyone that's watching can see this photo. But with that, where on Twitter, Gundy tweets I've never looked so good.
That was the best tweet I've ever received ever. I was so honored.
So did you just decide to come up with that? Was that like a team thing of like, okay, Haley, you're going to be the one that does this, or?
JC Jones and I, we both have like an appreciation for Gundy, and we just think he's so cool, and we see him running around campus, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's Gundy. Like, it doesn't matter that we're athletes. We're like, it's Gundy, and like I feel like the whole town feels like that. And we were walking out of practice like the week before, and I was like, I'm going to dress up as Gundy. And JC was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I got a wig. I borrowed some of those like Xbox headphones from a football player. Yeah. I got the shirt and the wind pants, and it just it came together way better than I thought it would. I just kind of threw it together, but yeah, I don't know.
So were you surprised when you saw that he tweeted it?
I was surprised. I knew that like tweeting it would probably, my friends would be like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And then he saw it and he tweeted me, and I was like, my roommates thought I was crazy. I probably was like so fangirling, jumping up and down in my living room. Like, Gundy just tweeted a picture of me, like with a response. Like, my day is made. I'm done. I can graduate now.
Overall, how cool is it to be part of an athletic program with Gundy? Because I feel like, Oklahoma State is never, you're never surefire. Oklahoma State is never surefire out of the news, because who knows what Gundy's going to do. As far as what he does for other athletic programs, we saw with the saxophone, with the basketball team this year, what you were referencing in that dressing up was for the wrestling team. Everything he does for other programs, what do you guys see as far as other athletes from other programs?
He cares. He cares about every sport. He doesn't just care about football. He's just normal. I mean, we ride the elevator with him, and he talks to us, and he asks us, what's going on in our season. He's like, oh, you guys are soccer, right? Like, it's a big deal for us when people know what sport we play. And I think he's just shown that over and over again, like with his tweets. I mean, all of his tweets are very supportive of many different things, and it just makes him relatable, I guess, and personable. And it's just cool to have a head coach be like that to the rest of the athletic department.
Sure. All right. Well, we got a few minutes here. We'll look forward a little bit to the spring season here. 6 games here and traveling all around. Obviously not at home. We got the construction going. How excited are you, first of all, for that?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm just so happy that I get to experience it. If it's for 1 year, I don't care. I still get to be here, They've been telling players for years it's going to get done, and then something happens and it doesn't. So I'm just excited to get to experience it and go in that locker room and play on that field.
So you talked about the younger players, obviously. We talked about Rodriguez and some other players that were awarded that were young freshmen. Mm-hmm. What step have you seen for them? And then, we talked about Michaela Angaro leaving. Tanya D'Souza, she got some minutes last year, some important minutes early on in the season. Do you think these players are ready to step up and take a significant role in this team?
Yes, definitely. In practice, we are getting after each other. We're criticizing each other. We're taking it. No one's getting their feelings hurt. People are speaking up and being like, hey, do this next time. And then when they do it, we're the first person to congratulate them. So people are just being mature. And I think that's really going to help next year with us needing the younger players to step up into that role.
So then also with soccer, more, I guess, with you, is there either a player or, past professional that you've kind of looked up to that maybe you brought, your styles is kind of geared toward them, or just some that you've kind of looked up to when it comes to soccer world?
Soccer world, I'm going to be honest, I played a lot of sports and I mostly paid attention to basketball.
Okay.
Obviously, Michael Jordan, I mean, there will never be anyone greater. And I am really blessed to have, an athletic ability that isn't, normal. And that's what he had. And so my mom's always kind of looked up to him, and I've looked up to him. And in the soccer world, honestly, Megan Rapinoe, I love her. I don't have her style, but she works hard and she makes plays. And I just think she's a really awesome player, and I love watching her play.
Okay, last question here, real quick. You're playing the U20 Mexico national team. Which team is there? Could be some jersey swapping at halftime, or what's going on?
Honestly, I don't know. Our coach hasn't told us, but he says. I mean, obviously they're getting ready to play in the World Cup, so she's probably gonna need to practice with her team, which is gonna hurt me, and I don't want to play against Kimmy, but. I mean, whatever is great for her to be successful on her own. We all support her, and we'll get over it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. We appreciate you taking out a couple minutes. We're going to catch a break when we come back. Oklahoma State women's basketball in the Big 12 tournament this weekend. What did a win against TCU and a Sooner loss mean for their rankings in the Big 12 tournament? And is the Big 12 tournament a big deal for this team? We'll let you know all of that next on the Border Battle on KXCY.